My speech is A Time for Choosing by Ronald Reagan in October 27th, 1964 in Los Angeles County, California, United States. This speech was presented in 1964, as I said, during the U.S. presidential election campaign by our future president, Ronald Reagan, on behalf of Republican candidate Barry Goldwater. And this speech ended up launching Ronald Reagan into national prominence. Now, he's a significant figure because during the Cold War, which was around that period, 1950 to 1995-ish, he energized the conservative movement in the United States starting in 1964. As I said before, the events surrounding this speech was the 1964 presidential election campaign. Now, this speech was directed towards any of the American people, in particular the Republican Party, because he was a Republican. He was in the past a Democrat, and he recently switched to being a Republican, more conservative. Now, the purpose of the speech was to almost warn the American people about socialism in our country, and that the country feels the need to monitor the citizens of the United States even more so than they already are. Ronald Reagan believed that the people should be able to make their own decisions, and he conveys that if they were to vote for Barry Goldwater, they will be guaranteed the freedom and independence, and they will not be under more control of the government. Now, some significant ideas from the speech. Ronald Reagan does put a lot of emphasis on the fact that we cannot just sit around, relax, and just feel secure in that belief that we'll always be prosperous forever, because that simply is not the case. He explains that no country has survived a tax burden, which was 1/3 of the national income, which was the case for the United States in 1964. He also explained that tax dollars were rising, and every dollar earned by the American citizens, 30 cents out of that dollar goes back to the government in tax money. He also explains that the government continues to spend $17 million per day, dollars per day more than the government is taking in. He explains that the government is not taking the proper actions and precautions to improve the current tax situation that they were in. And for evidence for the speech, it's basically everything I stated above. Ronald Reagan was stating real-life statistics and facts that the country was currently dealing with. So how does he appeal to the audience? He uses ethos, pathos, and logos quite a bit. He also uses his own experiences and his own stories, which create a lot of imagery and just paint a picture for the audience's mind. His speech was very relatable to every single American citizen, really. He's related to them on a personal level, about their money, their freedom, basically everything that people are most concerned about. Now, some details of this, some quotes that show ethos, for example. He states that no nation in history has ever survived a tax burden that reached 1/3 of its national income. Today, 37 cents of every dollar earned in this country is a tax collector's share. And yet our government continues to spend $17 million a day more than the government takes in. And then, for pathos, he explains that we will keep in mind a reminder that Barry Goldwater has faith in us. He has faith that in you, and I have the ability and the dignity, that the right to make our own decisions and determine our own destiny. Now, in conclusion, although Barry Goldwater lost the election in 1964, the speech, A Time for Choosing, is still considered one of the most effective speeches ever made on behalf of a candidate. However, after Ronald Reagan did deliver this speech, he was asked to run for governor of California. He ran for office and won the election in 1966, and Ronald Reagan was later dubbed the Great Communicator in recognition of his effective auditory skills.